welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike. What's up, bud?
I'm going to start today's episode with a fun fact.
All right. Hit me with it.
This is today's fun fact. The world wastes 1 billion metric tons of food each year.
Like, just people throw it out?
Yeah. Food waste is a huge problem. How big? About 931 million metric tons. So it's not 1 billion. It's 931 million. However,
Get your facts straight, bro.
they did say about. That's how much food that researchers with the United Nations estimate was wasted in 2019, according to Food Waste Index Report 2021, which surveyed 54 countries, finding that the majority of wasted food, 61%, comes from homes, while restaurants and other food services produce 26% of wasted food. Grocery stores make up about 13%. If you need to pick me up, read through these other facts.
You need a pick-me-up. That sounded pretty depressing to me. I don't know if that's a pick-me-up, you know?
Well, do you want to pick me up?
I want to talk about food waste.
Okay, well then we'll just dive right into food waste. Here's
what's
a good
going
one.
on with that?
So, a lot of it, from what I understand, are different food regulations where they don't want the food to be bad or what have you, like shelf life or something.
Yeah.
When I used to work at I'll call it the cafe shop. We won't name them.
No free shout-outs.
They're a massive chain. However,
Not that big.
right, yeah, nice eye roll. The crazy thing was, in the morning, you would throw out what was left from the overnight and then start fresh every morning. That's why everybody had the morning rush, because it was all super fresh, including the coffee. The wasted pastries and donuts and things like that really had a depressing side to it, because you realized how much actually did get thrown out. And then you would sit down with all your coworkers and be like, why are we wasting all this food? It's still okay to eat. And then the answer was because there's laws in place that prohibit that from occurring. I'm like, we can give all this food to the homeless. They're like, we can't. Like, there's things in place that prevent it.
Yeah, because if a homeless person gets sick off of something that the cafe gave them, they can then sue the cafe.
So dumb.
Yeah.
So then starve.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what? Come on. This is ridiculous. But yeah, there's actually, I believe it's hashtag 1000% not a sponsor, a Nickelback song where they say
I wouldn't
that.
even want them to be a sponsor anyway.
Well, I mean, anyways.
Look at this photograph.
Look at this graph. So they have a lyric in one of their songs where they say we could feed nations with just what we throw out. Mm-hmm. Like, along those lines. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, it's disgusting. Like, we just waste so much food. There you go. That proves it. 931 million metric tons.
Million. Is that a year?
Apparently. Yeah.
Okay.
That was in 2019.
What countries did they survey, though? Probably these friggin' rich, real protected, like, wealthy countries. Like, they're not surveying Kenya. Like, they don't waste any food. Right?
Not that we know of.
So it was probably a selective review, and they just normalized it across all 247 countries.
It doesn't make it any better.
Correct, but they normalized it.
So there's 247 countries on Earth.
I think so, last time I looked.
So that means we have, I think they said 54 were involved in this.
Yeah. So a fifth.
54 countries.
Yeah.
A majority of the wasted food comes from homes. So we have a lot of homes here. So obviously the U.S. is involved.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's U.S.,
Yeah, the
England,
major players.
yeah, Germany, France, Italy.
Yeah, and obviously they're not.
But they're not serving Kenya and Lebanon and African countries and third world countries. Like, they're not surveying those. So they probably took the number and normally distributed it across all countries based off of population. And they're like, we suck.
I wonder what they're going to say about China. Like,
China.
China wastes no food.
Yeah,
Like,
really.
they're immaculate.
They don't
in
contribute
all.
any global warming. They
Nope.
don't do any of that. They don't waste any food. They're just a superpower, and we just have to bow down to them.
It's wild. So that is your fun fact of the day, everyone.
So, yeah, you couldn't give away food. But, like, if you're a person, you can donate food. So how is that different? Like, if you're...
Yeah, right, because you could put poison inside the food you donate.
Correct, yeah.
So a stale donut versus a rat-filled
Yeah, a
poison thing.
A stale donut from a company that has to follow FDA regulations anyway because they're a company versus me bringing in an open canned beans. It's like we're accepting this, but not their stuff. It was the same thing, but it's just like, I mean, the biggest thing was, or the most relevant thing is The Office. I just watched the episode the other day when Michael gets lost. Office is just on repeat in my house. That's all it is. Well, Michael gets lost, and Holly goes looking for him, and he goes to the hot dog stand, and he's like, "Can I get a hot dog? I'll give you my watch for it because I forgot my wallet." And he's like, "No." And Michael Scott's like, "Well, don't you throw this out after?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, how about you throw one out right now into my mouth?" Like, it's that type of situation. Like, they can't give you something after, like if they're going to throw it out. And cafes are probably the worst because you can't have stale donuts. Like, they don't taste good.
Oh, they don't?
I'd still eat them, but
I did for a long time.
But they're hard. They get hard after a while.
Well, yeah. You can heat them up a little bit. You know?
The homeless don't have microwaves, Mike.
That's true. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that.
Yeah, they probably found one.
100%. Or they just rewired it or something crazy after one was thrown out that didn't work. Because a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, my lawnmower doesn't start. And they just realize if they just fix the spark plug, that they'd have a perfectly good lawnmower. They just get lazy and just buy new.
That's kind of what I just did with my new stove. The heating element fried out on me. And I'm like, I'll just get a new stove. It's like the blinker going on your car and being like, you know what? I should get a new car.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such an extreme reaction to the problem. But it's fine. Everything's solved.
Can they like donate water or stuff like that?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, where's the end of this?
Where's the end of this?
Yeah, like what can they donate, what can't? Like where is that line? I'm parched today, first of all.
We should have the FDA on. Just like explain your rules and why.
Let me see if I got their number.
They're not that big of an organization.
Yes, they are.
What do you mean? I wonder how many people they employ.
Probably too many.
No doubt.
Because they can't do real work. This is going to get demonetized.
So, for weekly recap, welcome to the weekly recap, everyone.
Oh, yeah. We are the Buffalo Happy Hour. If you're just figuring this out now, I don't know what you're doing.
Same.
10 minutes and they're like, who are these guys?
Everything's fine. The 4th of July weekend occurred. During the 4th of July weekend, we did pick up some subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fantastic. We appreciate any and all support. Thank you for subscribing. Our updated analytics, we're at how many subscribed versus not subscribed on the content. We'll put the graph below so you guys can see it.
It's going to be redonkulous because we had a video kind of blow up over the weekend. So 99.99% of those people were not subscribed. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's going to skew the graph. So,
but that's fine.
That'll be the outlier.
It all counts. So freaking subscribe.
Yes.
Audience, ready? Right here. Not subscribed. 73.4. That's not terrible.
No.
Let's check the last 7 days, though. 74.4. That's not bad.
So 74% of you are not subscribed while watching this. So if you're not, just hit that. We appreciate it. So yeah, 4th of July weekend was wild.
What'd you do?
So Friday we had a family reunion party. My grandpa's getting up there in age, so we wanted to get everybody across 3 generations there to hang out and spend some time with Grandpa, take a couple family photos. Obviously, food was involved, shot off some fireworks. So that was July 2nd. And they were all just like the little sparklers and fountains and things like nothing crazy.
Have you ever gone to like Pennsylvania and picked up a ton of fireworks, or did you never do that?
Not recently, no.
Have you ever been there before?
Yeah. I've walked the store. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, they got the computers that you can push whatever firework you have and it shows you a demonstration of what it is. It's like, dude, it just blows up in the sky. What more do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
How do they get the different colors? Like, how do they orchestrate fireworks where they blow up a certain way? Like one of my favorite, I call them the spaghetti noodles. You know which one I'm talking about, right? Where they explode and then it's just all the jazz hands coming down. How do they do that?
It's all based on the powder that's inside the firework. And the only reason I know this is because I used to work with a local company during firework shows. So I've done multiple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've done a few firework shows. One of them was the July 4th at UB. It's like a 15-hour day, multiple thousands of fireworks. It's insane. And it's all choreographed to music, so there's a ton of wiring involved, a lot of power supplied. There's one guy behind a computer, and he's literally hitting the button at a certain time that's all synced with the music, so that the shells are going off at the same time.
So it's a computer-generated ignition?
For some of them. The others, there's guys on the ground with ear pro on, and there's radios, and they're just like, all right, you're going to go down this line in 2, 1, send it. And then the wicks are already pulled and ready to go, and then you just walk down with a blowtorch, and then you hit the fireworks off, and then you're communicating at the same time, and then all the fallout's hitting you at the same time.
Right.
It's amazing. It's such a cool experience. But yeah, it's like a 15-hour day to do a 20, 25-minute show. So a lot of setup and breakdown. The shells are crazy. The shells go from anywhere from 1 to like 9 inches.
Yeah.
And they're just mortars inside of a mortar tube. It's sweet. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. But yeah, all the fireworks have a different concoction of powders. 99% of them are Chinese made, and then they just got it down to a science to the burn rate and then the velocity that they come out and everything else. It's all predetermined.
If China really wanted to mess us up, they could really they could get our fireworks going. Like, if they're making them, they can put some real explosives in these fireworks and then just get a lot of people.
I mean, it is an explosion.
Well, I know, but like a more detrimental explosion. Instead of it going straight up in the sky, you can manufacture something that just bursts everything out and just sends nails, you know?
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of horror shows. I
Yeah,
just
it's pretty
listened to
morbid.
Quentin Tarantino on Joe Rogan's podcast, so I'm kind of all in the movie theme right now.
He's nuts.
Yeah, he is. But
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any scares when you were lighting them off?
No.
Good
I
for
didn't.
you.
There was one guy who, he was going down the line and the wick didn't light, so he had to double back, and then that got him closer to the shell that did light. So that was quote unquote close, but otherwise, no, it was fine. That was like a 4-inch shell. So, I mean, you just get rocked a little bit, kind of lose, your ears ring, but nothing too crazy. Obviously, all those guys have so much time on and experience that they're never going to do anything ridiculous, like look down a tube, have anything over the
This
tube.
didn't go off.
Yeah.
Well, all the mortar like
The
things,
shells?
Well, the tubes, I meant.
Yeah.
All the mortar tubes, are they nailed down when you did your stuff? Because my biggest thing was when I went to Phantom Fireworks and I bought a ton, like a couple grand worth of fireworks one year. And we did them at the end of my old street, my income property. And the tubes weren't nailed down. So, like, you would light it and then you would just see the tube would, like, fall down and then it would just shoot into the train yard.
How did you never bolted them to?
No, we just did it on
Wood?
concrete.
You're out of your mind.
Hell yeah, man. I like to live on the edge. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. But yeah, each tube has multiple legs that are nailed in, and then that's how it all works.
Yeah.
So they all have their own support. But yeah, that was years and years ago, back when I was in shape.
Yeah.
So
Do you ever get tired of fireworks, though? Like, at what point when watching them? So, last night, we were going to go somewhere.
yeah, it's like 25, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
that range.
We were watching them last night. We just had a fire. It was just Gina and I. We sat outside. And my yard is open, and I can see like, Lancaster's fireworks were right back there. West Seneca's was there. Like, they had all the different types of, all the towns were launching them off, and then residential stuff was going on, too. And I don't know who was over here, but it must have been, like, Lancaster Town or whatever. But there was a display that went on for, no joke, over an hour. And it was an impressive display. It wasn't just like those things that just sat on the ground and they just start, like, fountaining. It was big fireworks. And they were going on from, like, 9:15 until 10:30. Like, it was wild.
Good for them.
And at one point, I'm like, all right, we're still going. And, like, the way that the smoke was blowing on the fire, I had to sit with my back to it. So I was sitting there, like, turned around like this all night. And I'm like, my neck's starting to hurt. It's been over an hour.
You should have just moved.
The fire, man. Can't leave a fire unattended.
I mean, yeah, you're nuts.
I'm going to have a little more of this. Tyler, I'm sorry. He's watching.
He 1,000% will be watching.
So for all of you that don't know, we do our Wednesday whisker reviews in a completely different segment now, where Mike and I stand up at the chalkboard and start writing stuff down as we're talking, so you guys don't get bored of us continuously talking about the same stuff on Wednesday and Monday. So if you didn't hear, go back and check that out. I'm not going to take a lot of this, but I'm going to take some. I'll Venmo him. Do you want more?
No, I'm all set. You'll Venmo.
Yeah, this is some good whiskey.
It is. It is really good. So you had So that family reunion party thing was Friday. Saturday, I had another buddy's party for his 4th of July party, and that was on the 3rd. I was there from like 3 until 11 o'clock. That was obnoxious. Super good time, though. And then Sunday is my sister-in-law's birthday, which was the actual 4th. Mm-hmm. So she had her own party as well over at their friend's house.
She was born on the 4th.
Yeah. Yep.
What an alpha move that is.
Yeah, it's great. So every year it's a bash, which is nuts. So every year there's always something that involves family.
Yeah.
So did that last night, and then I had a good bit of Macallan 12 sherry cask.
I can't believe you drank a UK product on America's birthday.
I mean, kind of.
It was wild.
Still Highland, but...
No, it's UK, bro. Scotch. Scotland.
I know, but still.
It's all UK. You're friggin' supporting that regiment over there.
And then woke up this morning, July 5th, and didn't realize how obnoxiously unintelligent that move was by booking a chiropractor appointment at 8:45 the day after the 4th when we're closed. Like, everyone's closed. We're all off. So
I'm surprised your chiropractor was even open.
I know, me too. But luckily they were, and got adjusted. Been having a lot of knee pain over the course of like the last 7 months, so I finally started to get over my pride and got it looked at. So more to follow.
What happened?
They like wrote me a letter to go see my primary, so things are fine.
Yeah.
But I have this obnoxious bump underneath my kneecap, towards my tibia.
Yeah.
So there. It's wild. It's like on the front of my leg, so it's like
a big bump?
It's a visible bump. It looks like, it doesn't feel like a cyst, but it looks like there's something under the skin that's protruding out.
Yeah.
Feels like a bone bruise if I like poke it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it aches and it's painful.
Damn.
But I never skip leg day because you don't skip leg day. So yeah, I had to basically, there's a warm up period. There's a few things I got to do stretching wise, and then once I actually start leg day, it takes a good, I would say, a quarter of the leg day to warm it up, so it's not like super painful, but it's like if I do walking lunges, it's a significant pain that I feel in my knee.
I mean, you don't need your knees that much.
Yeah. The human body's fascinating, and it's, obviously designed by one of the greats. Whoever that may be.
Wayne Gretzky.
However, your knees are the brunt of everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all the weight sitting on them all the time, like your hips and your knees. So, and
did you see the South Park episode where Kyle wishes that he was black so he could play basketball?
Yes.
And then they took Mr. Garrison's parts and put it in his knees. I don't know why. It just made me laugh when you brought that up, because he jumps up when he's playing basketball and he comes down and it just explodes. That show is so ridiculously stupid.
I love how they get sued every episode.
I know, and they just don't care.
No, not at all.
It is so funny to me. We just started watching it again, and it's just like, what? This show is so dumb, but it's brilliant.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but go back to it. That just made me really think of it.
No, you're good. But yeah, so that was the latest episode for my knee, and I question why we're designed that way, but...
So does it hurt when you're just like walking regularly? Or no? It hurts when you're putting
not too much. Yeah, but if I'm sitting and my legs are at a 90-degree angle because I'm sitting, I have to continuously extend my leg and then crack it. And then every time I extend my leg, it'll pop. But I don't know. It's wild. I'm just beat up, man. There's a lot of miles. So we'll see what happens.
How many miles do you think?
I was trying to quantify that before I came here with another friend of mine, and I was like, I couldn't even begin to try to fathom how many miles are on my body, because football was never tracked for miles, but that was a thing. All the running, I could probably get like a roundabout idea, but when I first moved to West Seneca, I started distance running because I couldn't afford gas. I think we talked about this before, so I just ran West Seneca to figure out like what roads went where, and I was doing 13-mile runs like 3 to 4 days a week, just so, because I was super bored, and I was in...
Chris Traeger over here.
Well, yeah, and it was the first 2 years of my undergrad, so fresh out of high school, like super new town, didn't know what was going on, couldn't afford anything, broke as could be, and just, I ran. I didn't know what else to do. I was just, either Chris or Forrest, and learn the roads, learn my neighborhood, try to figure out what went where, and then before I knew it, I was running all the time, everywhere. So the things that didn't seem far, like where the Buffalo Airport is on Clinton Street,
Yep.
to Antoinette's, that's now Nick Charlap's on the hill. That used to be like I would run there and then run back. And that would be, it's not that far anymore, where before it was the overpass going over the 400. That was like, I'm getting out here. Like, this is a far run. Yeah. And then what seemed far was progressively getting further and further away from the house, because I was just so used to running insane miles. But
isn't running, like, not good for you, though?
Yeah, basically anything over 2 miles, it's, like, not ideal for your joints.
But there's this topic of once you're running and you reach this threshold, your mind turns off.
Correct.
And then you just start coasting. So,
have you ever hit that? You've never hit that
come
point,
on,
right? Okay,
dude.
yeah.
That was a stupid question.
Listen, you've asked me a lot of stupid questions.
Have I ever hit that? No, dude. I honestly couldn't even tell you the furthest that I ran. The furthest has to be 4 miles, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah. I'm not built to run, dude.
Everybody's built to run.
I'm not built to run.
Listen, if you ran, your body would morph into a runner's body.
Yeah, and then everything else in my body would be shot. Like, running isn't good for you. Like, it is for your heart, but your joints and your knees and your ligaments, it's not good for you. There's a lot of studies that say it's bad. A lot of studies. I know the most people, but a lot of people say it's bad.
Well, a lot of it is because our bodies were never designed to... So, with evolution...
That's why I'm not meant to run. Neither are you.
With evolution, we got super lazy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But, however, we have... Our feet are designed the way they are because it's supposed to be on terrain with no shoes.
I told Gina that fact the other day.
Yeah, so...
Our feet should look like hands, really.
Yeah, but gross.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. Like, that's
fully
not cool.
calloused and like the most like pedicures should never exist. But we glorified everything about the human body because it's money.
Have you ever gotten a pedicure?
No, I'm too ticklish. I probably kicked someone in the teeth. Straight donkey kick. Like, don't touch them. Everything's fine. However, so anyways, like I was saying, flat roads and hard surfaces that we built. That's like the end all be all for. That's why people have flat feet.
Yeah.
There's that, and then the footwear that we've manufactured for fashion have absolutely no arch support in them, like Uggs. Like, first of all, you're not someone. So Eskimo's like offensive now.
Yeah.
So you can't say that.
What are they? What are they actually called?
I don't.
Something with an I, right?
Well, indigenous.
No, that's Native Americans.
Well,
Eskimos are called something else.
yeah. So, anyways,
I'll look it up. Hold on.
the people that live in and around the North Pole have a purpose for something that is similar to an UGG. Okay. Yes, it's cold in Buffalo, New York. However, with global warming, it's changing. Inuits,
yeah.
yes. So they have a purpose for an UGG. If you're going to Wegmans, there's no purpose to wear an UGG. Okay, there's just not. Grow up. Also, if you look at any fashion trend, because Buffalo, like we discussed the other week, is literally 5 to 10 years behind the times, they're already out of style. However, we just keep wearing it. Same with dudes in cargo shorts.
Right.
Like, you're not a dad. You're a 21-year-old male. Like, figure it out.
Can you fix your arches, though?
So, with orthopedics, right. But it's the same thing. Like, everything that's designed now is hurting our bodies. We sit for too long. We drive everywhere instead of walk. Like, movement is medicine. That's one of the most famous sayings ever, and it's
we
so
sit
true.
down to work.
Yeah, and we're never outside. We're always inside. Like, we're making ideal climates to live a better life, and there's two sides of the coin. That yes, it is ideal, and yes, it's very nice, and it's gonna allow us to prosper as a species. But the other side of it is it's detrimental, and now we have an overpopulation problem. Now we have a food shortage. Plus, we're throwing out 931 million metric tons of food a year. So there's Study skewed. Asterisks. But yeah, and it's frustrating. So then you have to literally look at the design of running shoes to counteract all the things that are going to go on. The same thing with treadmills. Treadmills are horrendous for you.
Yeah.
But so is running on the road. Like, everyone should be barefoot running through a park, but there's poison ivy, there's sticks, there's stones, and because we get pedicures, the nickly pricklies hurt, so we don't do it. End rant.
Gina bought the shaver thing to get the calluses off the feet.
Yeah.
She bought that the other day. I'm like, I'm not going to cheese grate my feet.
You know they have, like, masks for, like, a foot? and then you take the mask off and it peels all the dead skin away.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
But
I'm not a
isn't-
snake, first of all, so I'm not gonna like shed skin, slither out. Like, no.
Isn't the calluses, they're good for you, though?
Yeah, you want tough feet. That's the point.
Did you wear shoes? Like, obviously you wore shoes growing up, but like when you were running around the house, did you have shoes on?
Dude,
I
even
feel so
outside-
weird that I'm the one that doesn't.
You know-
like even I'll go out right now, walk down the street with no shoes on, go get the mail, no shoes. Like I never used to wear shoes, and I still don't, unless I'm
No,
getting in the car to go somewhere.
If I'm at my house, I'm not wearing shoes. The only time I wear shoes is if I'm cutting the grass, weed whacking, or picking up after Sam.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Otherwise, I'm barefoot. And I mentioned this before the vacay. That's short for vacation, if anyone's confused.
Why was I going to say the exact same thing?
So,
We haven't been recording.
perfect.
Just kidding.
So
Nailed it.
the charge that you can counteract by walking barefoot on Mother Earth, that's a huge thing. So every time I'm on, like in Maine, I wore shoes for the wedding, for the rehearsal. That's pretty much about it. Like, why? Like, why would you? There's
When I
no
went to
need.
Boston, I wore shoes because I didn't want to get syphilis. But other than that,
yeah, but it's a private residence, and I'm just walking the grass. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
and
Obviously,
it's in your family. So.
yeah, like if I was going into town, I obviously put shoes on. I'm not going to be a barbarian about it, but yeah, I just, it's just nice to kind of connect.
Why are shoes then like seen as this might sound super arrogant, but a need for the homeless?
Oh, I thought you were going to say like a status symbol or
Well, that too. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion that we actually agree on. But,
whiskey drummers waking me up, dude.
right? It's so good. But why are I mean,
God,
like
it's really hot.
I understand that it's a protection thing, like especially in hot weather or super cold weather. But like they always need shoes. And like I get it, but you're supposed to like being connected to the earth, all that stuff, Like,
They're super connected.
yeah, no.
There's. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it. So here's a dad joke. Beep. You know how there's gangs on sides of the city? And you got like guys that represent this color and they walk around and they flash signs and they're like east side. East side. And then you got the guys on the other side of the city and they're like west side. And then you got the hobos and they're like outside. That's it. Thank you, everybody.
It's been fun.
Appreciate it.
These cameras are going to die anyway. This has been on for a while. It's pretty shocking.
Yeah, we're doing good.
But yeah, like I don't like wearing shoes.
So what was the whole point about homeless people having shoes or needing shoes? What did you mean?
I don't know. That was an ignorant statement. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Oh, would you stop?
But like,
You saying like there's like shoe drives for the homeless
Yeah.
because they always need shoes?
yeah, but like, I don't want shoes. Like shoes aren't good for you. The whole design of a shoe is to stuff your entire foot into an enclosed environment and keep it there. Like that's why people get bunions and like deformed feet is because they're putting their shoes into something that, or their feet into something that doesn't fit. If you Google like indigenous populations throughout the world that don't have shoes, like we were talking about earlier, their feet are like hands. Like they are meant to grip. It might be disgusting, but that's how the foot is supposed to be. You take that and you put it like you're tying a rope around a tree to keep the limbs from moving. And it's just like keeping your feet into the shoe. And it's like, that's not good. So why do we have these drives? Like I understand that the pavement's hot. Like when it's hot, I don't want to walk on the pavement with bare feet. But like in general, I don't want to wear shoes.
Yeah, well, you're probably like one of 400 across the country that straight up don't want shoes unless absolutely necessary. And there's, I don't know, 400 million people in the country
Yeah.
between documented and undocumented. So,
Each getting rid of 2.2 pounds of waste, food waste.
yeah,
right?
what's the math on
I
that?
don't know.
We should really dive into this whole food shortage thing.
Yeah.
Check back in next week. We'll have updated
Food
numbers.
shortage
Just
or
kidding.
food disposal?
Well, yeah, disposal. Why did I say shortage?
I don't know.
All right, well, anyways. So,
What are we talking about?
shoes.
Well, we're the Buffalo Happy Hour. Thanks for subscribing.
We have no clue what to talk about, so we talk about shoes
Yeah.
for 35
So
minutes. So
back-
basically, if someone wants a good pair of shoes, buy Brooks. Ad reads. Just kidding. They're not a sponsor.
Yeah.
If they do want to sponsor, though, I would love it because
Yeah.
that's the only running shoe I wear.
So
But
they
each-
have art support. Can you fix your arches? That's kind of what drove this whole discussion. Can you fix your arches?
With orthopedics, yeah. And then there's also different things you can do. Your plantar fascia, you can like massage and work on. There's a ton of tension. Same thing with all the tension in your body. That's why yoga is so important. It's because it's trying to just balance out all the tension in your body because it's always working and it's always contracting. And you're trying to relieve all of that to give your body a break. Like we discussed with the decompression chairs and the anti-gravity chairs, however they're called.
I forgot 15, so we were going to do 2.
Okay, perfect. So hot. Their 117 is different from other 117s. So anyways, and we're talking proof, people. We're talking proof. Yeah, it wakes you up.
Well, you also have to think, too, we didn't talk about this, but it's very high in the rick house, and they get a lot of evaporation.
Yeah, that angel chair, real intense.
They're not adding anything, and they're getting a lot of product out of their barrels.
Yeah.
This is just pure barrel strength, and this is hot.
Very.
It's delicious, though.
So, plantar fascia, you can work on. Releasing tension in the body is imperative and important. And that's why with those things and then adding shoe inserts, you can help the foot out. And then also wearing things with arch support and not flat footwear that does nothing for you. It's, yeah, you can basically fix your arches.
Can you have too high of an arch, though? Like the other way around? Like instead of your legs going in like that and your feet kind of like being out like that, like can they like bow out?
Yeah, so there's pronation and supination.
Yeah.
So supination is when your feet bow out and pronation is when they roll in.
So is pronation an issue with high arches? Like is that
no
a thing?
So there's people that supinate and that's extremely difficult to correct.
Or that's what I meant, supination.
Yeah, that's super hard to correct.
Is that a high arch issue or is that
it's just that's a foot thing. Like, that just happens.
Yeah.
But pronation is the easiest to fix because it's essentially collapsing arches.
There's going to be some foot fetish people listening to this that are really enjoying this
Yeah, they're going to tune in. Like, do you have any photos? Do you have any videos of supination?
I prefer pronation.
So gross. People are so weird.
Yeah, very weird. Okay, so that's very hard to correct?
Supination, yeah.
Why?
Because you're trying to force the foot back in. You're trying to fix the gait of the person. And it's very difficult to do that with shoes because shoes are either all cushion based, neutral stance based, or pronation based. There's really not many shoes that are designed specifically for supination. More times than not, you need foot surgery to correct supination depending on the severity of it.
That's just like that has to be then how the bones were like constructed in the feet?
I'm trying to think of what causes it because I know shin splints, your shin bone is literally like peeling out. So if you take a piece of wood off a live tree and you're trying to snap it in half and it doesn't work and then it splits down the middle and then you basically just peel it off from itself and then you split that live piece of wood down the middle and push it away from itself kind of like a banana peel. Yeah. It does that. Literally.
That's what shin splints are?
Yeah, that's what shin splints are.
Again, this is why I don't run.
And they splint off. But yeah, it's I can quickly check
Where do they
what
go?
causes. Well, that's why it hurts because it's pushing. It's literally splitting, and it's pushing on your skin and everything else.
Yikes!
Yeah, man. Body's a crazy thing.
It is.
What causes supination? Let's see. Causes treatment exercises. All right. So
this is a medical podcast. If you guys didn't know.
If they're like, you can strengthen the muscles and tendons affected by the improper foot position. Supination's usually a result of an inherent problem with the structure of your foot. So you're right.
Gotcha.
In other words, it may run in families. No pun intended. Supination may also be caused...
I don't think it runs very well.
Yeah, that'd be an awkward gait to watch.
It gallops in fantasy.
It may also be caused by weakness in certain muscles of your foot, ankle, and leg. The lack of strength may be a result of improper shoes. Literally what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes. Misalignment of the body, prior injuries to the foot that damage your tendons or muscles. Wearing rigid, tight shoes all the time can cause problems. Since your feet are the foundation of your body, foot problems can throw your whole body out of alignment. An excessively supinated foot can't adapt to the surface it's walking on. This means that the surrounding bones and muscles have to work differently to maintain your posture and balance. Over time, it can lead to tension in various parts of your body. That's why I was talking about yoga.
So what are your...
including
sorry.
the calves, knees, hips, and back. Prolonged tension often leads to injuries.
So what are your recommended shoes, not for running, because you'll just say Brooks, again, not a sponsor, but what are your overall, go-to shoes that you just want to lounge in? Because I see you're wearing flip-flops today. First of all, don't know why men wear flip-flops, but second of all, what are, your preferred relaxing shoes?
I don't wear them.
So if you're going to go to the grocery store, you put on, actual shoes, that tie, that do all that stuff, good arch support shoes?
Yeah, Brooks.
You wear Brooks to the grocery store?
Yeah.
Good for you.
So I have a pair. So I cut the grass in Brooks. I just cycle through pairs of Brooks because nowadays running shoes are literally for everything. They used to have walking shoes. So there's a lot of older clients that come in and would ask for walking shoes back in the day when this is my whole life. And I'm like, I understand. Don't look at labels. Just understand the design of the shoe and realize that today's running shoe replaced walking shoes, and you can use them for dual purposes. Just because it's a running shoe doesn't mean you have to run in them.
What was the difference between a running shoe and a walking shoe from a construction standpoint?
The soles were different. The inserts were different. It's kind of similar to running shoes versus tennis shoes. So tennis shoes have a wider base of the sole, and then it's built, instead of going forward and stopping, it's lateral support. So it would prevent you from rolling your ankle from basically jutting to the left really quick or then jutting to the right to change direction.
Sure.
That's basically the premise. But the walking shoes in the old days, the selling point used to be a heel cage in the back of the shoe to kind of support and wrap your heel from the back.
Okay.
And then it would have a heel cup, so your heel was supported, so your heel wasn't sliding in the shoe. Running shoes do the same thing, which is why they basically became one. They also had a larger selling point for arch support and then cushion and or gel, and then they went into the outside design of the shoe, whether it was leather or kind of like what we have now with the mesh. So it's all that. But then basically the old sales pitch for running shoes was more tread, more breathability, laces last longer, all these, different marketing pieces. But they essentially just blended all that together. Now tennis shoes are typically made out of leather, and then running shoes and or walking shoes are all mesh, and then all of those components are involved. Arch support, dual density foam, gel inside of the sole, layers of the sole, and then heel cages, the mesh on the outside, lacing. It's insane.
So Brooks is the way to go for shoes. Basically whatever you
Not
need.
necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on the person's foot. If they have a really narrow toe box and their feet don't spread out towards the front half, the balls of your feet, if that's not wide, then you don't necessarily want Brooks, because Brooks have such a wide toe box. Like you were saying with the indigenous folk, their feet spread out. Typically when you run, that does the same thing as well. However, if someone has a really narrow foot, Mizuno, Asics, Saucony or Saucony, depending on how you want to say it, have much more narrow toe boxes, and that's because it'll then wrap and support the foot much better than a Brooks would, because a Brooks has just got a, by design, wider toe box, so that when you run, your foot has room to expand inside that toe box, and then you're not getting tingles, like pins and needles in your feet, or your feet go numb. All of that comes into play just based on if the shoe's too tight, if the toe box is too tight, do you have room to expand within the shoe, all that mumbo jumbo, and then your arch comes into play as well. Flatter feet, you would then go from, you can stay with the same manufacturer, but then you would get a different model of shoe within that manufacturer. So there's Ghost, Ravenna's, Glycerins for Brooks per se, and then Mizuno would have Wave Runners, and then all different kinds of different brands. Very similar to shopping for cars. They're Chevy, but then you have an Equinox, a Blazer, a Malibu, so on and so forth.
I have such a wide toe box, I think. My feet are just obnoxiously large and wide.
Yeah. Yeah, you would just straight up need wide Nike Monarchs.
Flippers.
Cut the grass.
Yeah.
Flippers. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I used to wear skate shoes all the time, and those are probably terrible for your
There's zero
arch.
zero arch support in skate shoes.
I mean, I could do a mad kickflip with them, so...
Sweet. Well,
Don't
you're
really
also
care.
walking on your knees now, so...
What about socks? Do you like to wear socks all the time?
No.
This whole episode's about feet. The title of this episode is going to be feet.
Yeah, I don't.
Why did we start wearing socks?
I don't. Who?
Like, just
of all-
hypothesize for a second with me. Why?
You literally during the weekly episodes, you ask so many questions. That's all you do. You just sit there, drink whiskey, and ask questions.
It's
you
such
expect
a
me
good
to know
life,
things.
isn't it?
You're
It's such
so
a good
annoying.
life.
Whatever.
This is why we're professionals. So why do you think that we just started wearing socks? Like, why do we need something to be a barrier between our foot and the shoe? Is it smell related? Like, we wanted to have something to catch our sweat so we didn't stink up the shoe?
and or water coming in, it might be to keep feet dry. Because,
Socks don't keep some of them. Like, socks now, they don't keep feet dry.
well, listen.
You
dude,
have different types of socks in the Army to prevent trench foot. Your socks in the Army are not the same as my Fruit of the Loom socks, you know?
Well, yeah, you're buying cotton athletic socks.
That's what I'm saying. So why do we have cotton athletic socks?
You just answered your own question. Trench foot and all the issues that come with wet feet.
But again, I don't think that my cotton athletic socks are helping.
Well, that's because you're... Okay, first of all, depending on activity, you would have different socks. There's hiking socks, there's camping socks, there's sitting in a tree stand while hunting sock, and then there's athletic socks, there's no-show socks, marketing gets involved, there's no-shows, there's all different kinds of socks. So, based on what you're doing, would dictate the kind of sock you would need.
So you think that the need for socks originated from the fact that we wanted to have a layer in between to keep our feet dry?
Yeah.
See, you do know the answers to my questions.
That's well, no, I don't. I don't know if that's the absolute answer that's correct, but it's
sounds
got to be that
Nobody
marketing.
out here knows. Don't. It doesn't
Who
matter.
thinks of that? No one does this. No one sits down with their friend
That's
and just
why they tune in.
yeah, probably. Let's listen to these two idiots
Try to figure out
Discuss-
the origins of socks.
discuss topics that no one thinks about unless they're super high on drugs. Except we never do drugs.
We were at the fire last night. It was just Gina and I put my head back and I'm like, we're just so small in this world. And she's like, are you high or something? Like, what? Where did that come from?
Well, 2 weeks ago we talked about words and who came up with the
Right.
word spoon,
Yeah.
and we're sober.
I mean, we are drinking whiskey.
Hey, listen.
These conversations make sense.
Yeah.
But we're getting to the bottoms to some interesting topics. Like, I wouldn't have thought that socks, if we didn't have this very intellectual 40-minute conversation on feet, I don't know if I ever would have found out about socks. Do you think that's the same reason with, like, boxers and underwear?
Yeah, so you a boxers or a briefs guy?
Briefs all the way.
What's the difference again?
Briefs are, like, tight, like the tight cotton. Boxers, I think, are like the
Yeah, that,
American Eagle ones that you used to
it's
wear.
a harness and it strangles your groin. Those are
That's
briefs.
briefs, yeah.
And then boxers are just loose bobby board shorts that
Yeah.
you throw on. I'm a briefs guy, but I also wear Ranger panties like all the time.
You know. So, do you think it's the same type of method for?
I actually think I'm wearing Ranger panties as we speak right now. You want me to look?
Yeah, can you take them off right now? Jesus Christ. That's
I'm wearing my American flag Ranger panties.
not safe for work.
Oh, NSFW.
Pronation. But do you think that's the same reason why we have underwear? For that, not for trench foot, but for the whole moisture thing?
What an interesting use of that word. There's so many people that hate that word. It's hysterical.
It's so funny.
That and crusty.
I have some gross stories. My manager a while ago.
We're not going down this rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
we are. My manager. No, never mind. We're not going to go down that road.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But you don't need to know.
Anyways,
So, same thing?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a comfort thing. Have you ever worn jeans without underwear?
No, I'm not a serial killer. That sounds like chafing to the extreme.
Depends on the jean blend.
None of that
let me
sounds
tell you.
good.
I've done it once, and it was not enjoyable.
For
You essentially
pleasure
need-
or for necessity?
I was forced into the situation. We'll just leave it
There
at
we go.
that.
Perfect.
I didn't pack enough underwear, so
Gotcha.
go Bills. And I felt like I was in Woodstock, so it was just wild. It was a wild experience. Never again. Never again. Now I overpack underwear and socks because
yeah.
you can never have
You
enough.
have to.
Yeah. So
If you were in that situation again, would you wear old stuff?
no, I would literally just put like Dawn on it and then grab water from somewhere and wash it and then rewear it
Okay.
after it
Yeah.
it like hang dries. You just can't do it.
Okay, I have been in the situation though where I've worn gym shorts as boxers and then had jeans over that.
That's super warm. I don't understand how people do that. There's dudes that do that in the Army, and I just scream at them.
Yeah, but it was like wintertime. And like I would sleep in gym shorts and then I ran out, so I would wear my gym shorts as underwear. I've done that before. This is a really weird episode. Where do we get to?
We need to just restart. We need to restart. We'll just end it here and then start from the beginning.
So what did you do on 4th of July? We're bound to hit one of these eventually. I mean, this is episode 94, dude.
Yeah, this is what you get. This is what you get, people, when you, for some odd reason, subscribe and keep demanding content. You know, I was told by somebody that they're like, Friday is this person's favorite day of the week because I know that you have a random interview coming out with some random small business and or entertainer. And I was like, don't tell me that, because now there's so much pressure internally, because if you put the bar here, you and I are already beyond in regards to standards and norms.
I have had apoplexy every single week thinking that we aren't going to be able to keep up the Friday interviews. Every single week.
I text you at 9 o'clock on Saturdays like, why isn't the small business post up yet? I'm like, it's been an hour.
Dude, I hate those so much. It's
the only post you can't program.
That's why I hate it. Because
welcome to my life, man.
I hate it so much. Well, now I can't program the cocktail posts.
Yeah.
Because it has to be the video, and Buffer doesn't do that stuff. But it gives me so much anxiety for those small business posts that I hated that we started that, but we can't stop now. We can't just stop at small business post 24.
It's so
We're
hard.
on 70 now.
I know. And it's so hard coming up with verbiage to explain what these businesses do on the cusp. There's no one's writing for us. It's Derek and I trying to fathom how we're going to put this together. And I'm doing some of the posts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday we're off.
Yeah.
God bless. And you got the real ones on Thursday and Saturday. And I'm like, this is so hard to try to encapsulate. Did I say that right? Yeah. What these people are doing with their business and then who they are as people. It's so hard. But we're going full send and we can't stop. And this is the world we live in.
Would you ever get in? Do you want us to have an intern?
No. Because
what do you need to do?
The intern would literally do nothing but make coffee, and if the pot's 30 minutes old, make another pot.
Yeah, but
and basically work the logistics of what we're reviewing, from where, how we're gonna get it, how we pay for it, and then.
Well, we can have them we can have them edit
and grill food.
But can I get a steak? Thanks. I'll take that third steak.
And if they don't lift, if the intern doesn't lift, they're not in.
What do you think the process is to get certified with a college to be an official intern site? Like a video production school, they want they have an internship program, and you and I are like, listen, you can come work for us for free.
I love how you laugh saying that.
Because it's so stupid, but what do you think?
It's stupid, but it's honestly something that would be a legitimate conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
In the next couple years.
It's wild.
Add a zero. I mean, a couple years could be 4 years. And I'm like,
years.
Add a zero, because it'll be 40 years. But it's fine, because we still make no money.
Wouldn't that be wild to actually have people working for us, though?
It's going to happen. In some way or another, it's going to happen. It has to happen. It has to. Because we're going to be 60 years old editing? There's no way. We started too young. It's got to get to a point where someone's like, dude, I will do it just so that you guys have the satisfaction in saying you have an intern.
Right.
And it'll be I don't know, Autumn Leaf.
Right.
She's like, you're all disasters, but I'll do this one time that for the rest of your life you can say you had an intern. Be like, that would be amazing.
I think that would be really an interesting conversation to sit down with the college and be like, listen, this is our podcast. This is what the intern would learn working or interning for us. And in turn, this intern, see what I did there? This intern, I don't know why I stuttered there also. I'm like Drew Lynch over here. This intern will also learn video production, organizing, doing all of the aspects, social media management, coordinating with businesses. They would learn all that stuff.
What would we do with an intern? No. The intern would do everything. We'd be so bored.
That'd be awesome, though, because then you and I can be more we wouldn't have to talk about feet for 45 minutes.
It's a good conversation. You know what? Honestly, next step. Here's the thing.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
I think the 4 people that continuously watch our episodes, I think we're up to 4 now, that are outside of you and I.
yeah.
So we're 2.
So, the other 2.
So we're fine. So we'll say 5. We'll be generous.
Yeah. I don't know. People are getting mad that we keep discounting that. Two immediate people. Your sister thinks that we think that she doesn't watch anything.
No,
and she's legitimately mad.
The only reason
Jamie got legitimately mad the other day when we were having the fire. He's like, I wish Mike was here because I watch every episode an hour after it posts.
Again, there's 5 people that watch. We're 2. So we have 3 people.
Jamie, your sister, and Tyler. That's it. That's all who watches.
Obviously, there's more, and we love everybody. It's just funny to basically self-deprecate ourselves to the point that we literally think we're useless, and that's the only reason. But yes, my sister's a top subscriber. She's been subscribed from the very beginning. Me busting my sister's beeps is... Which, that's awkward saying beeps because she's a female, so that could also reference something else.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
So anyways, that's just brother-sister love.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
True.
So she can deal with it. I've been doing that our whole lives. It's fine. It's fine. But, yeah. So anyways, a videographer would be sweet. Someone that just does all the videoing for us, holds the camera, follows us, and then we can just literally go off the rails and we don't have to worry about the shot and everything else. Like, that's done.
Even for, like, interviews, like, handle all this stuff for us. The soundboard. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Handle these cameras. Make sure that they're recording. Maybe we get an external monitor so they can actually watch the shot in play and then, like, press the camera so we don't even have to edit.
Which we got to give a shout out.
A lot of stuff.
We got to give a shout out because we've had that before.
Yeah.
With the boy.
Yeah. And then he deserted us because we weren't paying him. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not true. That's not true. Actually, we did.
He was just busy. Yeah.
He yelled at us for paying him.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's fine. But yeah, his life took off, so good for him. Now he's crushing it. He's got his own business. He's crushing it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and by no means are we asking we're ready for that. This is
no, not at all.
This is hysterical that we're just talking about it. I mean, what do you expect if you talk about a foot for 50 minutes?
Right, yeah, we have to have at least some interesting conversation today.
I love how some of our best topics are at the very end of the episodes.
Yeah, I mean, this whole topic was pretty good. Like, the feet, that was a good conversation. There's going to be, like, 2 people that really like that.
We talked about food, feet, and interns for today's episode. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it.
This has been episode 94 of the Buffalo Happy Hour podcast. We're approaching on 100 real quick.
Yeah.
We've sold over 80 bottles of our whiskey. So basically, we're out. At this point, like, we don't need...
You said it. We're out.
Yeah. We don't need to promote this whiskey anymore. We don't. Like, the remaining bottles of what we don't sell, basically, if people, like, still figuring out if they want one or not, the remaining bottles will sell themselves in the liquor store.
Correct.
We don't have to try anymore. We're done.
I know.
So if you do want a bottle, this is going to be probably the last time we talk about it until we actually get the bottle and review it ourselves. But if you do want a bottle, go message us, text us, page us, I don't know, email us at the Buffalo Happy Hour podcast at gmail.com if you want. We have more small businesses coming out soon, every single Friday. So if you're interested in any of that, please make sure that you subscribe. We have, who do we have coming up? We have a author who wrote about the October storm, which is super exciting. That book is really good so far.
Are you in it?
Oh, yeah.
That's not really you.
Yeah, it is. I'm telling you it is. Me and Tom. Because he's Tom's neighbor. We have Tom coming back on eventually when we have our new whiskey. And it's just going to be a good time. So episode 100 and 104, we're going to have to make a monumental episode.
Yeah. And that, you know what we should do? We should pay homage to everyone that watches. Because we know who you are. We know who likes. We know who comments. And we know who's subscribed because you've literally yelled at us about it. So thank God.
Do we do a bracket of who the mega fan is?
Ooh.
Well, we already have a mega fan, so we can't take the title away from him. We have to do like a...
Oh, also, he wanted me to let 3-Chord know that because he's Buffalo Happy Hour's mega fan, he is now 3-Chord's mega fan.
Oh, okay, cool.
In lieu of the work that we're doing with 3-Chord. That's
Nice.
just how it works.
Oh, yeah.
So now he's all fired up.
Cool.
So, Yeah,
We'll
I
talk
mean,
offline.
I don't know. There's other shows that have tiers of fandom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's rude, but I don't think we need to. We also never got any recommendations for... Oh, that didn't come out yet, did it?
No, I didn't do it.
You didn't do what? You took it out?
What?
What our fans' name would be?
Oh, no, I didn't. That didn't come out yet.
Yeah, that didn't come out yet.
Yeah.
It comes out Monday.
Today. No, next Monday. Jesus Christ, I didn't listen to today's episode.
You didn't?
Stupid disc golfing, bro.
Oh, it was hysterical. All the audio was a mess.
I know, I was a part of it.
Yeah, we lived it. We were there. Goodness.
All right, well, thank everybody. Let's end this now before we start talking about toenails or something. So, appreciate everybody's support. We are the Buffalo Happy Hour. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We do interviews every single week with businesses on Fridays, and then you and I just talk about whatever we want to talk about on Mondays. And then on Wednesdays, we have a Wednesday whiskey review. So, if you want to check this out, 3-quart bourbon whiskey drummer, check that out. It released last Wednesday. It was a great review. This is an amazing product, and thank you again from Addie's Wine and Spirits that provided this to us. And also, we got to give a shout out really quick that they won Western New York's largest or best large liquor store, which is huge considering all the players that are involved and how there's still like a small mom and pop liquor store, or Pop and Son liquor store. That one is.
Yeah, which is insane to think about, that they're still family run with the amount of work that they're doing.
It's wild. So go check those out. Go follow our Instagram at the Buffalo Happy Hour 12. Go follow our Facebook at the Buffalo Happy Hour, and go follow our TikTok at Buffalo Happy Hour. We post our Thursday 3-quart tipping sessions and our Wednesday whiskey reviews there, as well as some other stuff if you and I are feeling up for it. So thank everybody for joining. This has been episode 94 of the Buffalo Happy Hour podcast. Please remember to drink responsibly, be a good person, and Michael,
Do not litter.
we're out.